Hello everybody and welcome to Kilik Circumstances. I am your host, Marian Angeles, and this is our show. Oh my gosh. Hello everybody. So, if you guys would not have believed what I did before watching this new show that I just watched that I love and doing other things, even though we're in COVID and I was safe, don't worry, I was making sure I stayed as safe as I could, and then doing this right now. So, let me take you back on a little backstory. I watched Julie and the Phantoms, which is the show that we're reviewing today, I think on the Friday night. And I was obsessed with it. I love it so much. It's just such a good show. But before we dive into that, I want to really give a little bit of a shout out to some people that I am so grateful to. And after that, I decided to film a clip, and it did not make it into the video. I'm sorry, I was half asleep. It was like 11:40 at night, but there's a chance I'll put it in as a deleted scene later on, so we'll see. Cross fingers. But the next day, I actually went to this fundraiser for my one of my clubs, my Filipino club. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to shout out the club and the university that I go to, but hi everybody if you guys are watching. And oh my gosh, I had so much fun. We had some boba, and then afterwards we went to a park, and everyone was playing like either hanging out. Like two guys were playing frisbee, and by the way, to those two guys that I saw, yes, I did take a picture of you. Forgive me. And I played volleyball, and of course, like, I haven't played volleyball in a long time, but it was just so much fun to kind of like help out one of the members, board members, younger sisters, who wanted some help with her receiving. And I was like, that's fun. Turned into a whole game. I played a little bit for like 20 minutes and then I gave up because your girl ain't gonna hurt herself today. And then I played spicy Uno with some people, and I just had so much fun doing that too. And I was like picking up on everybody's like social cues and stuff like that. But aside from that, we did that, and it was just so much fun. And the best part, honestly, was that when I went to the restroom, I bring my bag with me all the time because I'm a very prepared person. People thought that I was trying to leave. And the thing is that I can't drive. Someone else was taking me. So our president was a little bit worried about me and sent some people over. And I'll have to say that when I found out, and that my ate, she was calling me about if I was okay or not, I started laughing because I was like, wow, I really didn't clear up that misunderstanding. And then when I realized that there were two guys behind me who were also from our club who wanted to check on me and just kind of like see if I was okay, I'll be honest, I was really close to crying. I was close to crying because I usually don't get that kind of treatment. Oh man, I'm getting emotional right now. I usually will kind of just walk off on my own, and people will like look at me and they'll be like, oh, she's fine. But this time it was actually like, oh, is there something wrong? And I was just like, wow, for once it's like a whole new reaction that I never expected. This group is so lively, they're so much fun, but I got tired out very, very quickly. So I definitely had to talk to myself and just listen to music for a long while being there. And I'm fine with that. I had so much fun with my ate, shout out to you, ate. And I could not have imagined a better day. So to my Filipino club, maraming salamat. Thank you so much for having this, and I'm so excited to do this again. And you probably wouldn't know how much this means to me, but it really means the world to me. And for a girl who hasn't gone out since last September, it really does mean a lot to me. So aside from that, now that I got past that whole backstory, today's show that we are going to be reviewing is Julie and the Phantoms. Now, if you guys don't know, Julie and the Phantoms is about this girl named Julie who is mourning the loss of her mom and trying to reconnect herself to music. But she almost doesn't do that until these three ghosts show up and they help her bring out the light in her for playing music, and at the same time when she sings they become visible to the crowd and they're able to play music. It was just a really cute concept, and it's actually based off a Nickelodeon show that came out in the 2010s. Now when you do the 2010s and stuff like that, it's just like, oh, why did it end? But it just didn't have like a big enough following. It was actually in Mexico, I believe. That's where Julie and the Phantoms first originated. Now, Netflix decides to pick this up again, and Kenny Ortega is the director and the executive producer for this. Now, if you don't know who Kenny Ortega is, like the High School Musical movies, Descendants, Hocus Pocus, Newsies, oh my gosh, I love him. He's actually my childhood. And his first movie came out in 2006 with High School Musical, first DCOM, and I was 4 at the time, so it's crazy to me that he could be in this movie. And they also have a couple of amazing actors from the Descendants franchise too. Booboo Stewart, who played Jay, he's actually in this. Cheyenne Jackson, he played Hades, and he's also like the villain in this. And then Jadah Marie, she is Julie's best friend in this. Her name's Riley, I believe. And there's just this whole crazy thing with this, that it's such a feel-good show that you will always just want to watch it. And there are so many different qualities about it that I just adore. I would say that the things I did adore were like having love and loss again, the music and its unification just in general. Music just like unifies so much of us. And then talking about just fame versus relationships, and then just talking about high school in general, because I just graduated, so I have pretty recent experience, unlike some of the members at my Filipino club, but I have more memories and things tied to it that this show, it just brings a lot of warmth and fun that we definitely need nowadays, especially since we're staying home. So there is the concept of love and loss. And with Julie, her mom, she ends up losing her. And her mom was an amazing songwriter and singer, and Julie and her mom would always make music together. It's hard to feel like you're connected to something once you have the connection that you had to it. The person that you had is gone, and it stings a little bit to say that, because even though I've never experienced it, I can just feel her pain, and it breaks my heart, absolutely. But when she continues on with her story, and these ghosts come in, Luke, Reggie, and Alex, they all ignite this fire in her that she can love music again, but it's just a little bit different. And sometimes when you lose someone, it's a little hard to process it, because at first you're in denial, then you're a little bit mad, upset. You have all these crazy emotions that aren't so crazy after all, but they're so overwhelming and taxing, and just they take in a lot of you and how much you need to recuperate, essentially. And with Julie, she didn't want to sing, she didn't want to perform, but once she did, she found her mom's song in the first episode. She reignited the spark, and the ghosts that Julie's able to talk to, they're like, oh my gosh, she has the voice of an angel. She is amazing, and I can attest to this. She is so good. They really pick some amazing actors and actresses for this show that stand the test to any other that I've seen, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart, especially for a feel-good show that's meant for like kids, but also kind of like a little bit more for adults too. But we'll get into that later. And as she continues music, she realizes more and more that the connection to her mom's always there, and somehow it's there through these ghosts, and we don't know why, because the ghosts don't know why Julie can see them and no one else can see them, and that how Julie is able to help heal them, and also how her voice makes the group visible again. It's just all these crazy things that you have to take into consideration, and you're just going for it and just, well, what is it? But those are a lot of the questions that aren't answered in this show. Kenny Ortega did an amazing job when it came to adding plenty of mystery, and especially where, what is the connection between the ghosts, Luke, Reggie, and Alex, and Julie? How are they connected, and why is that so? And we'll get more into that later, but that's just a really interesting point to think about, that Julie can do all these things for the guys, and that the guys help reignite her spark, but what is the actual purpose? Why did the afterlife send them back to the world? Because it's said that when people are sent back to the human world and not to the afterlife, that they have unfinished business that they need to complete. But what is it, and why is Julie connected? Aside from the connection of the ghosts and Julie, the one connection that is for sure is music. And I'm gonna give you guys a second to visualize this with me. Think in your head what the top 3 music genres you listen to. I am so sorry about that. My family is outside, so don't mind them. But there is this thing where music is just this unification process for all of us. And for me, when I think about the 3 genres that I listen to pop, K-pop, and a little bit of alternative. That's pretty much what I listen to. And when it comes to that, music and its unification, pop has these very deep vocals that kind of relate to everybody. It's very generalized, but at the same time, it's related to the character's feelings. And then when you listen to K-pop, they have very strong connections to nature and how nature affects people. And also they talk about love and loss and all these different things that are consistent with it. Even some silly ones kind of about cake or food or stuff like that. And alternative is alternative. It's a different interpretation for everybody. So that's music. And all of them have one thing in common, which is the story that they hold. Each of the songs in Julie and the Phantoms, they hold a very special music point for the show, and they help push it forward. But at the same time, they can be listened to as a standalone, and you will get the message immediately. So my example is that I was listening to the song Wake Up that Julie sings, aka Madison Reyes. She sings in the first episode, and it's about how she needs to wake up and that there's always a place for her and that she doesn't have to feel alone. And I actually listened to this while I was at my meeting today, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm having so much fun. I feel so connected, and even though I'm tired out and I need space, I'm just enjoying all of this right now. And it warmed my heart just to listen to a song and just make me feel happy. And now I always have a song that'll be connected to this first time that I meet everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm crying already. And it was just so special to me that I have a song like that now. When Julie and the Phantoms, they have that music, they have that physical connection, which what I mean by that is that Julie helps them become visible, and that the Phantoms are there for Julie. But more than that, they are able to become best of friends, and also a little bit of romance. I love romance. Who doesn't love romance? It's just the sweetest thing, and it's very simple and cute. But aside from that, music unites us all, because in a way, we all have a feeling that we can attach to the song. Like with me, the song Wake Up, and having this first meeting today that I had with the Filipino club that I'm in. And I couldn't be more grateful to every single person that I am with, rather than anything. That's my love and hope and joy, that music is this whole encompassing thing, that it can be anything we want it to be, and that everyone has their own different tastes, but they have their own different connections to it. And that's what really makes the world so special. Aside from the connections that we all make, there is this, I would say, there is this divide that people have. And for me, it comes between a couple of things. It comes between greed, selfishness, and not considering other people. And when it comes to that divide, it's really prevalent in Julie and the Phantoms. So with the Sunset Avenue, who are the three guys, Luke, Reggie, and Alex, they all were going to perform and become super, super famous. And suddenly they meet this guy, and he's like, I can give you an amazing show. All you have to do is just work for me, and you can perform as much as you want. But the thing is that these guys didn't want that. They were happy with Julie, and this other ghost put a curse on them, that if they didn't do what he said, they would vanish into thin air and never come back. And the only way to fix that is that he worked for this guy's house band for all eternity. And that is absolutely awful. Hint, hint, this is actually Cheyenne Jackson who's doing this. He does an amazing number in this show, so I gotta highly respect it, especially since you did Glee, Broadway. You gotta name so many things, and it's just awesome, 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 awesome stuff. And when it comes to this, the guys are swayed by this man, and they're like, oh my gosh, we want to do the show, we want to be famous, and they miss Julie's dance that they were supposed to perform at, and she was made a fool of. And that's when you put the cost of a relationship at the line. Now, Julie still forgives them, and when she finds out that the three guys are cursed, she tries to help them get into the afterlife by performing at this Orpheum that they were supposed to perform at before they passed away, by eating street dogs. Now, street dogs in like 1995 is something else, because they ended up dying in 1995 and coming back in 2020. So that's just to tell you the thing, but they still look like they're 17. And with Julie and the guys, they put their differences aside, and they realize that the fame that they have is not as important as a relationship. And when it comes to the greed that we all experience in our lives at some point, that we all have to make our own decisions. And for me, if someone asks me to do something for them or to hang out and they genuinely want to spend time with me, I will do anything that it takes in my own power to be able to facilitate their relationship, and not just be focusing on myself, focusing on the success that I could have by doing my assignment, because it's not as important as maintaining the relationships that you already have. When you do that, it's just, life is so much more fulfilling and so much more fun. And that's what Julie and the Phantoms really emphasizes, is that you can build and facilitate an amazing relationship by just relying on each other, trusting each other, and really building that bond, making those promises as real, super, super real, and not getting distracted by the fame, by the greed, by being more popular, by all of these different things that encompass why friendships, relationships break up. But there's also the case that values just don't line up at some point, and that's also okay. That's just a mutual agreement that you don't want to be friends anymore. But in this case, fame and greed stand in the way of a relationship between Julie and the guys. And to me, that's not the right thing to do, is that you have to really push forward and prioritize the relationship and make sure that you are balancing the things that you need to balance while not minding the other things, because if you focus on the things that are most important, other things come with it and in the future. In the relationships that are created between people, there is this magic that happens between people that sometimes they can become romantic relationships. And I gotta say, there is a romantic relationship in this, but I'm very wary of whether to support it or not, even though I think the couple are adorable. So it's Julie and Luke, who is one of the ghosts. Now, here's the thing, Luke's dead, but Julie still likes him because they vibe on a completely different level. They write music together, they just get along and just click so well. And then there's also this other relationship that Booboo Stewart has with Alex, who's the drummer of Sunset Avenue. and they're so cute. And for once, there is an openly gay character in one of Kenny Ortega's films, especially shows, especially for kids. And I just love that love is love, and it's just there, and they have this really amazing bond. It's like electricity. And with both of them, seriously, with Julie and Luke, the way that they look at each other, it's the way I wish a guy would look at me. But like maybe like 4 years in the future, I do wish that. And he just cares about her so much and is jealous whenever another guy comes up to Julie to try to win her over. And I just find that so sweet. The little bit of jealousy just like brings it just over the top for me to place him at number 1 and just keep him in my heart. And the thing is that the guy that plays Luke, Charlie Gillespie, he's 22. So like there's like a decent age gap there for me and him. And here's the thing, I'm never gonna date him. I just keep that in mind, because if we're like more than like 5 years apart, like he's 5 years older than me, that's fine. But if it's over 5 years, I don't feel comfortable having like a celebrity crush at that point. I just have to be a little bit wary when it comes to celebrity crushes and who I like allow myself to kind of lean into a bit more and a little bit less. So that's just my take on it. But also with Alex and Booboo, the two of them just hang out and they skate and they just feel free. It's just so much fun. But Booboo is working for the guy who ended up cursing Sunset Avenue to work for his house band, because essentially Booboo is his minion. And it breaks my heart, because you can see that Booboo, he wants to be with Alex and he wants that his friends, and especially Alex, to be safe and not to get stuck into the trap that he got stuck into. Of course, that is very evident, but there is, even though that does happen, there's one amazing part in this whole show. So when Julie finds out that Luke and the other guys are cursed, and if they don't join the witch's house band, the ghost witch's house band, they will die. They will never come back. They will not even go to the afterlife. And so she agrees to perform the Orpheum. She sings with all of her might to make sure that they all are seen. But in the end, they actually didn't make it to the afterlife. And that's actually how I thought the show would end. But Julie gives Luke a goodbye hug, and somehow her hug just healed him and made Luke feel stronger. And then Reggie and Alex, they both also came in. They all had a group hug, and somehow the curse was lifted off of them. And now Julie realizes that she can feel the other guys. And that's a big deal, especially for a girl who likes a ghost. Like, I was thinking, this is crazy. I actually didn't expect that for once. But there's just some extra twists and turns for season 2. Hopefully we have a season 2. I just love this show. And right now it just connects to my life so well, especially since you saw some of my tearing up scenes if you guys are on YouTube, or if you heard me tear up on the podcast. So it's just absolutely crazy. But it is a show that is 1000% worth watching, because it's essentially like a magnified Disney Channel original movie, but with more character development. And who doesn't want that? All right, this is the end of the episode for Julie and the Phantoms and Calican Circumstances. But I cannot thank the people enough who actually have subscribed to this podcast, especially the members from my the Filipino club that I'm in. And I would say thank you so much. I really hope that you guys watch this one, because this is like one that I really am working hard on, especially for this club, and to show how much this club means to me, even though I've only like met everyone in person once, safely. Keep in mind everybody else who doesn't know about this, safely. So that's pretty much it. And this has been Colleague in Circumstances. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye. Mwah.